This video is sponsored by Captain Plugins Epic. For more information, stay tuned to later in the video. Greetings humans, Boomer Beats here, and today I'll be showing you guys how to make a hyperpop type beat. Hey Steven, can you tell them what hyperpop is? Alright, Steven Beats here. Hyperpop is a loosely defined music movement and microgenre characterized by a maximalist or exaggerated take on pop music. Artists tagged with the label typically integrate popular or avant-garde sensibilities. Sorry about that, I must be allergic to this shit. Drawing on tropes from electronic, hip-hop, and dance music. Employs elements such as brash synth melodies, auto-tuned earworm vocals, and excessive compression and distortion. Alright, can I go now? So I'm going to be making a chill sort of hyperpop beat. Not really one of those aggressive ones, a little more chill than 100 gex. It's definitely going to be something that resembles I9 Bonsai more than Sophie or something. Here's a little snippet of the track so you can hear what I made. So first off, I'm going to walk you guys through some different things I think hyperpop beats usually have. It's actually a very wide genre. A lot of genres are very niche and you have to check a long list of boxes in order to fit into said genre. But hyperpop, while there are some things that are pretty similar in a lot of hyperpop tracks, it's actually very diverse in my opinion. You can have something kind of like this, or you can have something more like Sophie's more aggressive stuff. You can have stuff that's more just like 4 to the floor. But here's some things that I've noticed. Okay, so they often have a fast BPM. Not gonna say exactly what BPM, you're gonna have to use your ear there. Usually above 100 or 200 in my opinion. It really depends though, because I've heard tracks that were nothing like that as well. Pitched up vocals with a lot of auto-tune and distortion. While doing this, you're gonna wanna keep your formants up. You're gonna want them up. It's got a very strong electronic influence. It's either got trap drums or pop type 4 to the floor kick snare patterns. Sometimes I've also heard tonal snares or metallic snares. Usually has distorted synth bass or 808s. There's definitely a lot of distortion. They usually utilize a lot of space or silence. You have to chop things up, make them a little more glitchy, and then you're going to want to rap or sing about things you definitely don't do, like shooting people or falling in love. Now, some common hyperpop chord progressions. Obviously, if it's capitalized here, it's major, and if it's lowercase, it's minor. It's usually in a major key, though. I'm sure you can get away with doing it in a minor key if you follow a lot of the other steps. 1, 5, 6, 4, then 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, 4, 1, 5. Another one would be 1, 4, 2, 6. I actually did a different progression in this one. I did 6, 1, 4, 1. That's another option. The cool thing about doing it this way is that you start out on a minor chord. I'm gonna walk you guys through how I made this using Captain Plugins and Ableton and a few other things as well. What I did to start this off here is I used Captain Chords Epic. I got this from their best trap chords preset pack. And then I used the rhythm from the Hyperpop section. And then I picked out Rage Medium 9. And as you can see, you can have different sounds in here. This one actually kept the sound from it. You can also set it up to play through a VST plugin, or you can export the MIDI yourself. I took those same chords, I dragged them out, I put it on Oberhausen, one of my favorite synthesizers, and I put an arpeggiator on it, and I made this sound here. And then I basically proceeded to do that with a variety of different sounds. I also have this one here. Because I wanted to like be melodic, but I also wanted to be kind of freaky too at the same time. So that's why we got some of these weird pitch envelope sounds. There's a melody I made here. This one I made with Captain Melody. And you can use this to generate melodies for you, which is actually pretty sweet. There's presets in it. There's different types of ways for it to make sounds here. You can do that here. And then you just click this button or this button and it'll randomize it for you. So then I had it write this melody here. So all of them together sound like this. They're not all playing at once, obviously, but, you know, they change up from time to time. And then the drums, I honestly just used some hi-hat loops and did the kick and snare myself. The BPM is 209. It's basically 100 though. It's like 104.5, but I just sped it up until it sounded fast and hyper. Oh, and then also the open hat, I took some open hats and chopped them up like this. Gave them a little variation. Here's the drums combined. And then for the bass, I actually did something pretty simple. I just basically played the root note here and there when it made sense, obviously. And then I have different vital patches that I use. I actually use them from Steven's Tackle Box. You can get that down in the description if you guys want that. Sadly, it does cost money, but I'll tell you guys how to make those sounds really quickly here. So this first one here, it's a machine bass, or that's what I called it. It has 3 different oscillators. One of them is just a sine wave. We'll mute that one for now. So it's basically that sound being modulated here, and then this one, which is more of like a mid, and then with the sub. Not the craziest sound in the world. Then there's this one here. I called it a computer neuro. So obviously pretty much all of these are going to have a sine wave, so I'm just going to not talk about that. It's usually the 3rd oscillator. Basically there's this freaking wavetable here, and I have it being modulated by an LFO, and then I have a phaser filter being modulated too by an LFO, and then there's another oscillator down here. And I basically just did that for every single patch. There's this one here, which is more like a saw bass. This one's just an 808 I made with Sublab, and I used Nani on it. And that's it for the basses. Then I made a drum and bass sort of beat thing from Captain Beat. Just used one of the drum and bass presets. It's called Stepa. Or actually, it was underneath Jungle. Same thing, basically. I know I'm gonna get killed in the comments for that one. Chill, guys, chill. But basically, that just sounds like this. And I use that for the intro and the break sections and the outro. Then I also threw a really fast kick pattern with it, kind of like a hardcore thing. And then I also layered a bass with it here. I didn't really have a real bass line here because I wanted there to be some variation from the actual bass line earlier. And then I chopped up my vocals, which we'll talk about here in a second. And I isolated just like a vowel from it. And then I put it in Serato sample and then played keys with it. And then I tuned the shit out of it. There's like 6 auto tunes on it.
Holy shit.
Okay, so the vocals. Basically, I just recorded some random lyrics I thought of off the top of my head. Here's what it sounds like dry, for anyone who's curious. If you want to make fun of me, here you go. That you love me, baby. So there's actually 2 layers here. One of them is this normal one. I pretty much did nothing to it other than tune it. And then there's another layer here. This is a key trick here for hyperpop, in my opinion. So with this second layer here, I pitch it up an octave. There's more to it than that though, guys, okay? You're gonna wanna have the envelope and the formants turned way up, because if you don't do that, it sounds like this. Sounds like shit. Sounds like a mouse or something. But if you turn those up, like, you're gonna want to set the formants appropriately. I didn't like it all the way up, but I did like it somewhere around like 70 or so for my voice. It's a great way to make yourself sound like a woman. Tell me that you love me, baby. I'm gonna bring in the other layer here. So I have the higher layer higher in volume. Tell me that you love me, baby. And obviously there's some reverb and delay on a synth here. If you want to do hyperpop, don't worry if you can't sing. You don't need to be able to sing, because as long as you can get pretty much in the ballpark, then auto-tune or real-time tuning or whatever type of tuning you have will help get you the rest of the way there. After this, I decided to do a few more things to the vocals. I actually recorded a falsetto layer, which was a bit of a struggle for me because I'm a bit sick right now. The sound I'm going for is definitely sort of like a breathy sort of sound, so it helped to have a actual falsetto and not just a fake falsetto. So I layered that in here, and I used a vocal line to line up the layers with the other one. If you guys use this, you basically just send the sidechain from the layer you're trying to line it up with to this one, and you capture it, and that's about it. Some quick things for the vocal mixing is I put fresh air on a return. I also put crystalline, the reverb, and then OTT. The OTT is not very strong though. It's just to like bring out the highs in it a bit and to like compress it and just make it very audible in the mix. Now the combined vocals sound like this. I thought harmonies would sound good on this, and I didn't want to sing them myself, so I used Harmony Engine. I had it doing like a 5th and 3rd up, and then I only did it sometimes. Like I would send it through on the send every other phrase, basically. So not on this phrase here. And then I did it on this one after. pretty subtle. That's pretty much it for the whole track, guys. I'll play the finished beat now here. If you guys want to hear how I mixed and mastered this, I'll do a quick video on my Patreon showing how to do that. Yeah, shout out to Captain Plugins for sponsoring this video. I appreciate it. Make sure to check out Captain Plugins if you want to do something similar to this. You can do quite a few genres with it. Seems like it's really good for people who don't know how to do the specific genre they're trying to do, or they're not really the best at writing chords or melodies. So definitely consider getting it. This is not a review, by the way, guys. This is a sponsored video, sort of like a tutorial, but if it's Boomer was showing you how to do hyperpop. Like I said, this is not really an aggressive hyperpop beat. This is definitely one more on the chill side. So, you know, maybe some people may not want to even call this hyperpop. I'm fine with that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I'm your host, With Your Beats. Make sure to check out my Discord, Twitter, Twitch, second channel, Patreon if you want to support the channel, and affiliate links. I'll see you guys in the next video.
DANK Incorporated.